Just delving a little bit on that employee complaints aspect as a follow-up. In the absence of the office environment, how are employees managing their complaints responsibilities? Maybe if you could shed some light on how you're addressing the complaints-related queries that is coming up, and also if it is increasing, or how are you addressing that? I know it's early days, but any thoughts?
Yeah,
That you go ahead.
it's really interesting. We actually moved to a new code of ethics system the week following the shutdown. So of all times to be reminding people of their code of ethics responsibilities, I think it was a good thing because it actually kept it top of mind. But over the course of the last few months, we've actually discussed what other kind of training do we have to make sure that we're sending out to folks. So we've had to reissue information protection training, right? Things like not sending internal use only outside the firm, or some of their disclosure obligations, or how to protect certain types of information, or how to behave online. So Larry, you mentioned the proliferation of social media. I obviously, in my line of work for distribution compliance, there have been a lot of changes. And, I would say that right now, because digital is the way that we're doing business, no longer meet with investors face to face like you used to, there's a greater need for material around quickly. So for my team, I'm telling them, beware of the rush request, especially ones that happen over and over again, and don't be afraid to take the time that you need to review that material. What we're finding is when we get the submissions, folks are rushing and they're making a lot of mistakes. So we're really needing to slow down and do a good review. I think the other thing is the number of digital, we're on pace to exceed what we've done in at least 25%, specifically due to the pandemic. Things that used to take just a one and done turn into multiple touch points with prospects and clients. And it could be with folks in different parts of the world, which increases the complexity of the analysis, and it may take longer for us to evaluate. So, lots of new technology like Zoom for business meetings adds to cybersecurity considerations. So what other kind of things do we need to put into disclosure or attestation type of functionality when we're dealing with digital technology, so that we mitigate risk? I think all of those things have added to our plate over the last few months.
Yeah, to add to that, Karthik, it's a really good question. You can get into all the different nuances of it, like, for instance, issues during the course of a trading day and trade blotter issues, and coming up against a concentration and a downgrade, and what that means for the portfolio. And you just kind of manage those risks differently when you're not working out on the trading floor, and we're all working remotely. But to kind of look at it more generically, or from a more holistic approach, I see it that there's really two aspects of it. The employees, there are two types of employees. There are compliance employees and there are non-compliance employees. And the compliance staff, I think one thing we did, and I think organizations would be well served, is to kind of reallocate resources. As a compliance team, we have a compliance calendar. And it becomes, oh my gosh, it's getting near the end of the month and we haven't done wash trade testing or whatever. We haven't done cross trading and testing, and things become more kind of a tick the box. And when you do that over the course of time and the calendar pages are flipping, you're realizing is this a really good risk-based approach? Are we really allocating our time, our resources to the areas where we think our risk is most likely to unveil? And so what we've done is we've taken certain aspects of compliance and have reallocated the resourcing of it and capacity. So there are more maybe junior people doing more things that are less significant, and more senior people honing in on some of the more significant things. From the general population, the non-compliance employee issues, I think For us, the biggest thing is that it's not BAU, because the compliance manual that gets issued every year or every 2 years or whatever needs to be more dynamic now. I think people's risk approach needs to be more dynamic, more iterative. Policies and procedures need to be adapted readily and regularly. And it needs to not just be coming from within compliance, but throughout the organization. So I think what that means is there's got to be a more interactive approach with senior leaders and staff with the compliance team. Not an edict from above saying, this is our new policy and procedure for this, as opposed to hearing what's happening, seeing and observing, and working with the team to put together policies and procedures that conform with the practices. And then devising a real-time program to check the effectiveness of that.